How's it going, everybody? My name is JustJarrod, but you can just call me Jared, and welcome back to another legendary loot news video. Today, Biomutant is in the figurative loot chest as we've got some brand new details about the game after almost 2 years of zero new information. If you've been following the channel, you may recall I did a video on Biomutant a few months ago where we broke down all the known info about the RPG elements in the game with a specific focus on the loot side of things. Don't forget to check that out if you want to take a look at the older info, but in this video, we're going to be looking at the new stuff. If you are interested in Biomutant and want to stay up to date on all the RPG mechanics and news about the game, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more tasty loot goodness. So, without further ado, let's jump right in with new loot and crafting details we learned about Biomutant during IGN's exclusive interview with creative director Stefan Junkvist. Stay a while and listen. There's actually, quite surprisingly, a lot going on with the crafting and loot side of this game, more than I initially thought would ever be a thing, like so much so that I don't even know what to say when looking at these menu screens that I'm about to show you. I'm kind of at a loss for words because everything that's going on here. So I'm going to do something a little unconventional for my videos and do this part completely without a script. We're just going to look at these crafting screens together, because if you can make any sense out of them, let me know. I don't know if it's a UI issue or if we just don't know enough about the crafting and the loot, but I'm pretty lost here. Now before we get to that, what I do know, or I think I know at least, is that the entire loot mechanic in this game is from crafting. That's what I gathered from this interview. Stefan said that finding rare parts for crafting is very important to the game, and each part has different rarities, kinda like how Destiny's high rarity guns do crazy things. That's his comparison, not mine. Stefan also said that there's thousands of weapon combinations and possibilities when crafting melee weapons, and millions of combinations when crafting ranged weapons. That's quite a lot of options for weaponry and loot for not a looter game. Like, that's getting into like Borderlands type numbers, okay? So with each weapon part or crafting part or gear part, whatever they're calling it, there's a rarity attached to that single part, which convinces me that full weapons don't actually drop from enemies or can be found. It sounds like you'll be crafting everything, and we do know that you will also be crafting armor. Stefan specifically mentioned jackets, helmets, and shoulders, so there's that. Okay, let's jump into the non-scripted part of this video, which will probably go poorly. There's a reason why these are usually scripted, guys. Okay, so first off, we've got the Butcher's Bonkanob Plus, which is a hammer, I'd assume. Okay, so there's a lot happening here, alright? And there's about 8 different weapons or something like that we're going to look at. So you've got a bunch of stars at the top of the screen. This changes throughout these screens. There's 10 stars here. We'll see like 2.5 and things like that later. You've got a plus at the end of the Butcher's Bunket Bob weapon. Now you have a rarity section, which is a relic plus and then 88. No idea. Then the quality, which is different from rarity, I guess, is strong 3, but the 3 is Roman numerals instead of the number, which blows my mind, okay? I'm sorry. I've been looking at these screens for a couple hours trying to figure out what I'm actually seeing. Okay, and you can craft this item, I guess, but we're currently looking at the handle on the UI. So are we just crafting the handle? What is the rare? Is the rarity the part, or is the rarity the entire weapon collectively? I don't know. Then you've got the crafting cost, which is 4 of whatever down there at the bottom, with a bunch of other crafting options at the bottom. And then you go to the right where you have damage, which is a bunch of numbers. I guess we're comparing items to something that's equipped that we can't see. I don't know. And then add-ons, which I have no idea what those could be. You've got the weight class of the weapon, which is heavy. Attack speed is not even existent, so it's obviously super slow. Armor piercing, critical chance, regular stats on weapons, those are understandable. Required attribute is 50 strength, which we don't have, I think. And required skill is crush weapons, so I'm assuming there's skills or weapon skills that you unlock as you level up. Question mark. Okay, that's the first weapon. Let's move on, I guess. Okay, Here we have Ancient Hilt Toothbrush Body, which is a two-handed slash weapon with 2.5 stars. Now the rarity here is common plus 13. I don't know if this is like pre-development, like pre-launch things, like there's just like text in here that's not supposed to be, but the last rarity was just relic plus 88. Now this is common plus 13, unless they're working on like New Game Plus and New Game Plus or some weird crap like that. I don't know, but it's a toothbrush. Once again, add-ons, weight class heavy. That stuff on the right is kind of understandable. Everything else that's going on, you'll see it. We're going to get into even more crazy shit. Next, we've got the Workman's Split Slitter Plus with 5-star crush damage. The rarity is rare plus 48, and the quality is defunct minus Roman numeral 2. The Roman numeral part just keeps getting me. I don't know why. Then we've got the Knock Plus Plus with 10 stars, and the rarity is an Ultimate 100. Ultimate sounds like a pretty rare rarity, but it's the same color as the Relic rarity from the first screenshot, so still confused, but here we go. Are you ready? Quality is Stronk 3. First of all, Stronk, not a word. It's not a word. 3 Roman numerals. The material is Ultra 12 Roman numerals. Ultra material, guys. Where do you find that? Ultra, not fabric, not metal. Ultra material. I don't know. And it looks like there's a handle. There's 3 parts to the weapon. So we're looking at the handle, I think. I don't know. I don't know. Next, we've got a one-handed slash, what I'm assuming is 10 stars. I'm not going to count those. Flint Spiked Grip Piercer. Uncommon plus 34 rarity. I don't know what kind of weapon this is besides a slash. There you go. And then we've got a Wrench Curve Crush Blob. Uncommon rarity plus 30. See, because I initially thought the stars indicated rarity, but this is 10 stars, and now it's an uncommon item, which means it's not. So are we going to have to be balancing like the number of stars plus the rarity plus the damage type plus whatever the Roman numerals are? Like, there's so many stats and just things that I don't quite understand or grasp. If anybody, let me know, please, if you understand. All right. Now we got a shotgun, the Jackhammer Skrankerf ++ with a rarity of rare plus 48. This has frost damage of polar 5 Roman numeral, and material is the DM10 X Roman numeral. It's a gun. Hey, we got a shotgun. This is the cream of the crop right here. We have an automatic rifle that doesn't even fit on the entire frame of the screen with probably 10 stars. Now it's a high pro zapper TOC plus, not 1, not 2, but 3 pluses and then a star with a rarity ultimate 100, radioactive damage, radioactive 7 Roman numeral, and strong 3 quality Roman numeral with 0 radioactive damage. I don't get that. Fine. You've got per second damage, all that stuff, but the star means I guess it has a legendary attribute, kind of like Fallout 4 does with starred gear, which you can see at the bottom. Split. Projectile penetrates the target, inflicts damage on entry and exit, and continues up to its maximum range, which is pretty high. Awesome. But why is there so many stars, so many pluses, so many other stars, so many numbers, so many Roman numerals, so many different stats and perks, and this gun has like 7 different parts to it? If this is one part, I'm gonna die. And then you've got the classic flirp. Oh, God. Okay, back to the script. Other than that massive info, we also found out that there will in fact be classes to choose from in Biomutant. When you first start out the game, you'll enter character creation, and you'll be asked to choose from 6 different tribes. These tribes have distinct characteristics, and each have a different DNA strand. This strand will dictate how you look, your character size, build, etc., as well as your baseline stats. Then you'll be able to morph your character like how we saw back in the day. Doing this will also morph your stats, which you can see in real time. Then after that, you get to choose a class, which dictates the gear you begin the game with. The two classes that were mentioned are Psy-Freak and Commando, Psy-Freak being the one that utilizes tons of more magic and mutation abilities, and Commando being the gun nut with ammo strapped around him at all times. So, 6 tribes, DNA strands, stats, then classes. It's a lot to follow. Hopefully it all plays well. But I'm glad there is a class system, because Biomutant isn't an endless game as far as we know. It's not a loot-based game or a game with an end game as far as we know, so them utilizing a class system allows for multiple diverse playthroughs and replayability, something I desperately need in games. The last thing I want to quickly touch on that the new gameplay showed off is just how giant and how varied the game's explorable area is. It's a huge open world, full of dense jungles, giant caves, a vast desert, temples, underwater stuff. There's even an air balloon, a water ski, and wings that help you traverse the game much easier, which in of itself shows how large the game actually is. Exploration in this game is obviously important and something that the game was built around, and when there's gear and loot tied to exploring, I'm all in. That's all it takes. I'm a simple man. Let me explore crazy looking wicked places and let me find a cool chest with a toothbrush in it. I'm down any day of the week. Still no release date though. Stefan said that the main thing they've been doing is squashing bugs and trying to add some sort of guidance to the game. Apparently they made it too open and gave the player too much freedom, that while during playtests a lot of people had no idea what to do or where to go, and that's never good for game design. So they're working on adding something that will nudge players along, and when that's done maybe we'll get a release date or something. I mean, we're super close to next gen now, so I'd be down to wait until PlayStation 5, no biggie, but the loot looks cool, crafting looks a bit confusing and messy, but we'll see. Visuals look unique, definitely a style we don't see much of in the industry, so I'm excited. Definitely still into it. Let me know if you are still into it. Has it been too long? Have you given up on Biomutant by now? If there's loot, I don't really care how long it takes, man. I'll still play it. Anyways, that's it for this loot news video on Biomutant. Apologies for the non-scripted portion of this video. I didn't also mean to rant at all during it. I know I sound frustrated in it. It's just because there's so much happening on screen, and I'm not a non-scripted person. I usually need a script, so apologies if it came across like weirdly frustrated. Super hyped for this game. Super hyped. I just don't know how to process all that menu stuff. That was like the most just confusing amount of info that I've gotten, I think, at one point in time. You should have seen me when I was watching this live and trying to like look at everything. I was so lost. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video or found any informative value in it, give it a like as it helps get the video out to more people, and subscribe for more epic loot news on Biomutant. Also follow me on Twitter for more game news that doesn't quite make it into videos and for other game shenanigans and discussions. My name has been JustJarrod. Until next time, have a legendary day, night, afternoon. Peace out.